guys, so welcome back to my channel. Today's video, if you haven't already seen by the title, I'm doing a review and a little bit of a demo on the Artis Dupe brushes. So the whole set for the Artis brushes is a couple of £100. I'd love to get them, they look amazing. But obviously if you don't know what they're like or if the brushes will suit your skin, then it's a lot of money to pay. I think one brush minimum is about £40, so it's a lot to shell out. So I've been looking around and I found some dupes on Amazon, and I keep mine just in this little makeup bag here. They come with a set of 10 brushes. They look really professional. They actually cost £10, so I'm hoping that they'll work just as well. They look like this. This is the biggest brush of them all. They don't have names or anything like that. There's just 10 brushes. They've got like sleek black handles, just a bit rough here for holding. They feel okay, they're a little bit flimsy, but what do you expect for £10? Really compact the brushes are. I'll run through the rest really quickly with you. So that was the biggest one that I just showed you, and then this is the next size down. Oh, next size down. Still a round brush again. And then we've also got, well, oval, the next size down again, so that's the third biggest one. And then we've also got this one here. And then going on to smaller, I think that would be good for concealer under the eyes. I'm going to try and use as many of them as I can, and I'll show you the brushes that I usually use, and not these ones. And then we've got these very slim, maybe for brows or eyeliner. Show them against them all their long ones. Just laying them out as well. And then this really skinny one, I think that would be good for brows, or maybe lining the lips if you like them for your lips. And then we've just got the two round ones here. I think they'd be good for shading maybe in the crease, or applying, I've seen some videos of them applying lip products with them. So we'll give them a go. And like I said, they came in a plastic wrapping, nothing special, so I've just put them in this makeup bag from Superdrug just to keep them clean and safe. What I've already done, I've moisturised already with the Benefit Total Moisture, and also I've primed with the Hangover Primer. I've used the most moisturising products I've got. I'm worried the brushes are going to drag against my skin, and I found when I use makeup brushes such as like the stippling brush, I find that it really highlights my, sorry, my cat's tail, that really highlights my dry patches and it doesn't sink in well. Okay, so the foundation that I'm going to use for this specific demo is going to be the Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid. Again, quite a moisturising foundation. It's a satin finish. I really like the finish of this when I use my Real Techniques face sponge. This is in porcelain. It's still a little bit dark, so we're just going to have to bronze up the neck. Even the palest foundations aren't pale enough for me. And what I'm going to try, I'm just going to try the biggest brush that we've got so far and just let you know. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a couple of pumps on the back of my hand first, and then just dot this all over my face. And then obviously I'll drag it down my neck as well because the colouring is a little bit off. I'll just get my mirror. Right, let's see how this goes. So soft on my skin. Does feel a little bit flimsy when I'm pushing it into my skin. But if you hold your finger against the back of it like this, I think that's the natural way to hold it anyway. For me it is anyway. Just gives it a bit more. actually really like how this is applied to my skin. The first thing I noticed, sorry, foundation on my lips. First thing I noticed is that it hasn't actually shown up any dry patches. It's given it a really even layer too. That is actually really good. It's kept the coverage. Obviously, I don't think it's much has sunk in here. When I run my hands over it, you can't feel it. You can feel hardly any product at all. That's another thing. If you've got any ideas on how to clean these brushes without buying that Artis scrubby thing, then I would love to know. Just seems like a waste of money to pay that much just for the scrubbing cloth. Yeah, really impressed with this one to begin with. So that's a good start. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to apply my concealer, and for that I'm going to use the 17 Stay Time up to 18 hours. This is in the shade Extra Fair, which is actually the perfect shade if you're wanting something a little bit lighter, if you're deathly pale like I am. So what I'm going to do, just smear a load under my eyes, and then again get a smaller brush. I think I'll try this one, or this one here. I'll try the bigger one first. So this is the one I used for my face was the biggest one, and then we've got two more in between this one here, but I haven't used those yet. So what I'm going to do is just, again, I usually use my Real Techniques brush for this. Sorry, my Real Techniques sponge. Never have any problems with this concealer, but this is not going on well. I feel like it's smearing my foundation underneath. No, it's not. I really don't like this for doing your concealer. It's going up my nose. I'm just going to buff that in actually, because I feel like it's not getting anywhere. I'm just using the Real Techniques buffing, I think it's the buffing brush. Okay, so obviously this brush is the same as the bigger brush, it's just a smaller size. I don't think it's the actual brush that's the problem, I think it's the fact that I'm smearing it. It might be the concealer, but the fact that I'm smearing it over my foundation, I feel like it's just moving everything underneath and nothing's blending in. I think you can dab with them, but they don't go far. This has held so much product, and I think it's just because it's moving everything. It's not actually placing anything on my skin, it's just been moving everything around. What I'm going to try now, just going to try a little bit of a contour on the side. I'm using the Estee Lauder New Dimension Shape and Sculpt Base Kit. Looks like this. It's got the highlight and the contour cream, so it's a cream contour kit. The highlight I don't tend to use much. I'm not sure if anyone else has found this, but I find it does smear a lot. I don't know whether to use it as a highlighting underneath my eyes completely or on the tops of my cheekbones, but it's not a proper highlight, like a glittery highlight. But yeah, we're just going to try the contour shade here. I'm just going to use that smaller brush. So rub that in. Very pigmented this is as well, so just be careful. Just going to get a bigger brush just so I can get more coverage. That blended it really well actually. I should have gone in with this to begin with, so I think this is good for definition, so you know where to line it. And then when you go to blend in, I'd say grab a bigger brush, but obviously it's up to you. But the actual application, really good. I have no idea how I'm going to clean these. And then what we're going to do, I wanted to try, I'm going to try a liquid blush. So before I powder everything now, I'm just going to try this Bourjois blush. I've never actually tried it before, I've had it for a while, so I'm just going to squeeze some on the back of my hand. If any will come out, it's probably all dried up. It's like a corally colour, really pretty. And then just apply that to the apples of my cheeks, and then I'll just blend that out. It smells like children's makeup. Just going to use that same brush again. I've just wiped the excess off. This is really good for liquid blushers, cream blushers. Cream highlights would be good too. I don't actually own any cream highlights, so I can't try it. That's a really nice shade. I'm just going to set everything with my Collection loose powder. This is really good. I think this is a really good dupe for the Ben Nye banana powder, although it's not as yellow. This is in translucent, but it's not. It has a really yellow tint to it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm usually used to what I apply with... Sorry, I apply my blush with this blush brush, so the Real Techniques brush, and then I usually apply my cream contour with the Real Techniques sculpting brush. So it's a really compact brush as well. And then I usually set my powder either with that same buffing brush that I just used to blend in my concealer, or just this flat top kabuki brush. It's actually £1 from Primark, but I find it really good for just applying powder, especially powder foundation. But just dip this in. This is the second largest brush. I'm going to dip it in there and then tap it off into the lid. Just seems to be getting stuck in the centre. Let's just give this a try. So I'm just going to set my whole face. And then just dip in and out when you need to. I usually set my face either with this powder here or with the MAC powder foundation. I found now it's getting a little bit warmer. The powder foundation is quite heavy, so I'm just trying to keep everything as light as possible. It's giving a really nice finish to my skin. Yeah, that's not bad. I think it's a bit of a gimmick. Just spilled powder everywhere. I think it's a bit of a gimmick, these brushes. They're really handy, but I don't know why you would want to swap your normal brushes. If they're doing the job for you and you're happy with it, then I wouldn't go out and spend hundreds of pounds on the Artis brushes. For a tenner, then they're worth playing around with, but I wouldn't bring these ones travelling with me or anything like that. What I'm going to do next, just going to bronze up my face using Benefit Hoola, and I'll just use this thin brush again. Can't even tell how much product I'm putting on. Let's try this. I like to bring it up to my temples to warm up my whole face. I've probably just put too much on. This blends it out really well. It's just actually finding out the amount of product you put on is enough. Because it just warms up the neck. I'm not too keen on that blusher now I'm looking at it. I feel like it's really harsh on my skin. It's really accentuating my redness that's under. I'm just going to highlight using Mirror Luminizer. And again, the same brush, I'm just wiping it off. Should have used a thinner brush, but can never have too much highlight. Really like this for highlight, especially on the tip of the nose. Helps. Oh, I'm also going to try my brows as well. And what I'd usually use for the highlight, before we go any further, I'd either use this fan brush by Real Techniques, or if I want to go in a little bit heavier, then I'll actually use this contour brush. I think this is really good for applying your highlight. Try my brows first. So I'm using this Freedom Brow Pomade. It is amazing, it's so good. I got mine in soft brown, but it's brilliant. I think it would be the perfect dupe for Anastasia. What I'm using is this the thinnest long brush. Now I think that these bristles are too long for actual definition. I think as soon as you start to push down on them they're going to give. I think they should have been a bit shorter and stumpier, but we'll give them a try. I'm just dipping it into this pomade. Oh my god, you cannot get really neat and tidy brows with this brush. I look like I've got two dead slugs on my head. I don't think there's a brush that's thin enough for that, because the brush that I usually use is this one here. So it's the Zoeva, it's from the Untitled palette, it's Wing Line, it's a 317 brush. Really thin, and I just can't cope with that, using those brushes for my brows, because I probably look actually ridiculous. I can't be bothered to tidy those up anymore. So let's just jump on to eyes real quick to see how they do with blending. What I'm going to use, these are my Makeup Geek shadows here. This is just a random one. I'm just going to pop this one in my crease and just see how this blends. Probably loaded that up too much, but let's try it. Just going to see if one of these will be a bit more defined. These skinnier ones really aren't good. I think the other ones, the more compact ones, work because there's so many bristles. But when you're getting skinnier, there's less holding them together. They're so flimsy. Oh, I can't blend for shit with this. That's ridiculous. Just done bugger all apart from make my eyelids look dirty. Let's try one more time. awful. I wonder, I'm going to try this for, I'll use the other one, I'll try this for actually applying product to the lid. So I've got Makeup Geek Whimsical here, one of my favourite lid shades. So let's just see how pigmented we can get this. I feel like there'd be a lot of fallout if you use this for shadows. I can feel it pulling against my eyelid. It's not smooth. I usually just use one of these eyeshadow sponge applicators if I'm patting on product on my eyes. I find they work much better than synthetic brushes. I just don't get on with those. But this, you can see, I don't know if you can actually see, there's fallout all up the brush here. It's probably on my face. It's in the corners of my eyes. Right, let me just give my final review before we finish this video then. So the bigger brushes, they are amazing. They are so good. So it's worth spending the £10 for the whole kit, just so you get these brushes here. They're good for your liquid highlighters, blushes, foundations, contour, anything like that. They are brilliant. I think this would probably match up to the Artis brush if the Artis one is as dense as they say it is. This is really dense. Amazing. It's not as flimsy as I thought it would be. Obviously you're not trying to apply so much pressure to your face, you just want enough sort of buff in, and it has actually left a really good finish to my skin, which I'm pleased about. It doesn't show up any dry patches at all on your face, so that's brilliant, and I love all of these ones. The others, these circle brushes, these two circle brushes, pointless. I don't know what I would use them for personally. They are so long on the sides, they're just so flimsy. No. This I lost patience with my brows. I feel like I've got 2 dead slugs on my face, and it didn't have any definition at all. It just kept giving out or going where I didn't want it to go. And this one I tried to blend in my crease with. Again, they're just so short. I don't know if the Artis smaller ones are even more compact, but these are so thin, they're just giving. So the little ones I'm not a fan of personally. Other cons, they're not as easy to wash. I think they'd just be a pain in the arse actually, because you're not supposed to get these wet, are you? Like proper wet? Because they take so long to dry. I don't know, I'm going to have to wet them and see what happens. But overall, I prefer these brushes, definitely. I'm glad I bought the £10 set, because even though these might not be as good quality as Artis, it's the same concept. So if you don't enjoy using these, then you're not going to enjoy Artis, no matter how expensive or how good a quality they are. It's the same brush at the end of the day, it's the same type of brush, it doesn't matter what finish it gives you. I just think these are definitely a gimmick. I probably will use this for foundation more, because I love that I can actually use a brush for my foundation rather than just relying on a sponge. And I would buy the set for a tenner, knowing what I know now, because it's so cheap. But I just think, just stick to your brushes, because it's definitely not worth all that money. But it's just my opinions, obviously, so if you are wanting to try them, I'll leave the link down below to the £10 set, and obviously that is a good tester to whether you'll use the Artis brushes or not. So thank you so much for watching. If there's anything else you'd like me to test or anything you need to know, please leave me a comment. But thank you so much. Bye.